everyone, my name is Araceli Garcia and I have been a high school English teacher for almost 24 years. I just recently left the classroom and I am now working for my school district as a teacher on special assignment, working for the English language program. And so I decided to make these short little videos to help teachers out, whether you're new or been there for a while and just are struggling to figure out how to integrate our ELD standards into lesson plans that you already have. So what does that look like? So today I'm going to just briefly talk about the different levels of ELs. We're going to take a quick glance at the ELD standards and then we're going to jump right in. Today I'm going to be talking about a 5th grade science lesson where we're using a lot of scientific terms and how you can make that accessible to our English learners. So here, I always like to start and remind ourselves, who's sitting in our classroom. And so that really begins with looking at all that data that you have, looking at your students' profiles and so forth. But just by taking a glance at your class, you might not quite know, right? And so we think about our students and we realize there's a lot of needs. And so whether they're students with language, language that they need a little bit more support with, right? Or maybe they have, social anxiety. Remember, after this pandemic and distance learning, a lot of our students regressed in their skills of building literacy skills, of communicating effectively. And so even our gifted students can also benefit from some of the strategies and tools that I'm going to talk to you about today. So as you can see here, we might have a few students who are non-English speakers. So how do we make things accessible for them? And so as we look at our classroom, we realize there's a lot of different needs there. So I always like to use this little visual here. We sometimes feel that, I need to give everything the same way to my students. It wouldn't be fair. And we really need to change that thinking because all fields of, whether it's business, medicine, even restaurants, right? We need to keep our students in mind. We need to keep our clients in mind. What is it that they need in order to be successful? So we wouldn't give the same medicine. We wouldn't give the same food sometimes, right? People have different allergies or likes. Same thing in our classroom. Our students need slightly different things. We're not looking at different lessons. It's the same lesson. However, we're going to spice it up, change it up a little bit so that they can be successful in learning and gaining access to that material. All right, so what are the different levels? Let's begin just very briefly. We have our beginner or our newcomers. So, many times we are getting students from all over the world, and that's a great privilege to have, right? These kids come with a wealth of knowledge and experiences that they can share with their peers and really give us insight into what they've gone through, right? And give them that voice. And so these are students who maybe can say yes, no, right, to some simple questions. They might definitely understand more than they can produce. And so, we want to make sure that we're still giving them high quality education and rigor. We don't want to dummy things down or give them things, that's different from what the rest of the class is having. They have the intelligence there, that grade level intelligence, depending on their background. But we definitely want to just give them the language help that they might need. So that's why I always warn teachers not to just ask the question at the very end, did everybody get that? Did everybody understand? Because those are like yes, no, and most of the time our English learners are not going to verbalize, hey teacher, I didn't understand that lesson. I need more help. They might just nod because everybody else is nodding. So we want to be careful with that. All right, our next group is our emerging. They are still very much the beginners. As you can see here, you can read this on your own, but they're very simple, basic sentences. Hello, my name is. A lot of conversational type of English, and they might be familiar with high frequency vocabulary, but they're going to struggle with when it comes to the academic reading and academic writing. And so this is where we want to put in those scaffolds. We also have expanding. So this is our middle group, right? And remember, there's a huge spectrum. These might be students who actually were born here in the country, but because again, they might not have access to the English language at home, they might have interrupted education. They might have gone, back and forth from their native country here. And so there, again, it's a wide spectrum. these students might do well with having a conversation. They might have some grammar issues, but they can participate in a social setting. But once again, they might struggle, probably will struggle with the higher level vocabulary, more complex sentence structures, things of that matter. Now we have our bridging students. Our bridging students are right on the cusp of being maybe reclassified, joining, right, some of the mainstream courses. They're no longer in the ELD classes. And this is really important to know that, many of these students are not sitting in a individual ELD course. They are sitting in our science class, our math class, our English courses, even though they're still English learners. And again, they need some different support. And so some of the strategies I'm going to show you can help with that. All right, this is a brief glance